In the vast and intricate tapestry of human psychology, there exists a rare and enigmatic archetype, often referred to as the quiet observer of the world, making up a mere fraction of the global population. Individuals who possess the introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging traits navigate life through a profoundly different lens. They are the architects of the unseen, the silent philosophers who walk among us. To the outside world, their behaviors can often appear perplexing, full of strange idiosyncrasies and seemingly inexplicable habits. People may view them as mysterious, sometimes aloof, or even deeply eccentric. Yet, beneath this quiet exterior lies an emotional landscape so rich and complex that it defies simple explanation. Today, we will embark on a cinematic journey deep into the labyrinth of this unique mind. We will peel back the layers to understand the profound reasons behind their most misunderstood behaviors. This is not just an exploration of a personality type, but a deeply human story about the weight of empathy, the burden of intuition, and the beautiful, chaotic symphony of a mind that never truly rests. One of the most striking paradoxes of this deeply empathetic individual is their profound level of secrecy. Despite their unparalleled ability to listen to others and absorb the pain of the world, they operate like a heavily fortified castle. Nearly 90% of their inner world remains hidden behind high walls. They are intensely private, guarding their deepest fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities with an almost militant vigilance. To a friend or partner, this can feel like hitting an invisible barrier. But this secrecy is not born out of a desire to deceive or manipulate. Rather, it is a protective mechanism deeply rooted in love and a fear of becoming a burden. Because they spend their lives carrying the emotional baggage of everyone around them, they are acutely aware of how heavy that weight can be. They would rather suffer in absolute silence than place their own dark clouds over the heads of the people they cherish. They are the eternal healers who refuse to bleed on anyone else, smiling softly while carrying mountains on their shoulders. This intense internal life naturally breeds a habit that both defines and exhausts them, the endless, relentless cycle of overthinking. Their mind is a theater that never closes, constantly replaying past conversations, dissecting every spoken word, and analyzing every micro-expression. A simple interaction from 3 weeks ago can keep them awake at night, as they painfully dissect what went wrong and how they could have responded better. They do not simply experience life, they process it, categorize it, and turn it over until every hidden meaning is extracted. This is because their intuitive nature demands that they be prepared for every possible future scenario. By obsessing over the past and analyzing the present, they believe they can predict and control the future, shielding themselves and their loved ones from unexpected pain. However, this magnificent analytical engine requires an immense amount of fuel, frequently leading to severe mental and emotional burnout. The very gift that allows them to understand the world deeply is the exact same force that drains them of their vitality. To survive this constant mental exhaustion, they require something that modern society often misunderstands: absolute and uncompromising seclusion. They have an overwhelming tendency to suddenly vanish from social circles, retreating into the quiet sanctuary of their own space. They will turn off their phones, cancel plans, and completely withdraw from the noise of the world. To the uninitiated, this sudden disappearance looks like depression, anger, or rejection. In reality, it is a biological and spiritual necessity. Like a deep-sea diver returning to the surface to breathe, they must isolate themselves to decompress from the emotional pressure of the world. In the silence of an empty room, surrounded by a good book, a blank page, or simply the sound of their own breathing, they begin to repair their fractured energy. It is only in solitude that the overwhelming puzzle pieces of human behavior they have collected throughout the week can finally be sorted and understood. They do not isolate to push the world away, but to heal themselves so they can eventually return to the world with an open heart. Yet, even in their quietest moments, a harsh and unforgiving voice echoes in their mind. This is the voice of their own self-criticism. They are driven by an agonizing pursuit of perfection, an idealized vision of how they should act, how much they should achieve, and how much they should help others. When reality inevitably falls short of these impossibly high standards, the resulting disappointment can be crushing. They do not blame the world, they blame themselves. They are their own harshest judge, jury, and executioner. This perfectionism is not born from vanity or a desire for external applause, but from a profound sense of moral responsibility. They genuinely believe that they are meant to make a significant, positive impact on the universe. Whenever they feel they have failed to be the perfect friend, the perfect worker, or the perfect listener, a deep sense of guilt washes over them. They constantly push themselves to the absolute limit, sacrificing their own grace and forgiveness on the altar of their high ideals. This intense desire to make the perfect choice often paralyzes them in the mundane moments of daily life. They are notoriously indecisive, agonizing over choices that most people would make in a heartbeat. Whether it is choosing a career path, deciding where to live, or simply picking a restaurant for dinner, the process is painfully slow. Observers may roll their eyes, wondering why it is so difficult to just pick something and move on. What these observers do not see is the complex web of consequences flashing through their intuitive mind. They do not see choices as isolated events. Instead, they see a sprawling map of cause and effect. How will this choice impact the future? How will it affect the feelings of the people involved? Does this align with my ultimate purpose? Because the stakes always feel monumental, they require immense amounts of time to weigh every variable before taking a step. They do not lack the ability to choose. They simply refuse to choose blindly in a world where every action creates an eternal ripple. The core engine driving this deep analysis is a powerful, almost mystical trait that has earned them the reputation of being human psychics. Their intuition is so sharp, so quietly observant, that they notice the subtle patterns and invisible threads connecting events that everyone else completely overlooks. They read the room before anyone has even spoken a word. They notice the slight shift in a friend's breathing, the forced nature of a smile, or the tension hiding behind a casual joke. This ability to absorb and synthesize subtle cues allows them to predict outcomes with startling accuracy. It can seem miraculous or even unnerving to those around them, as if they are reading minds. But there is no magic involved. It is simply the result of a mind that is constantly gathering data from the emotional atmosphere. This profound gift of perception allows them to find brilliant, creative solutions to human problems, but it also means they can never truly turn a blind eye to the reality of the world. They see the truth of things, whether they want to or not. Because of this hyper-tuned awareness, they possess an extraordinary ability to sense the true nature of the people they meet. As natural empaths, they instantly feel the emotional temperature of another human being. They know when someone is in deep pain, even if that person is laughing loudly. They are the friends who will pull you aside and ask what is wrong when everyone else thought you were perfectly fine. However, this human lie detector works both ways. They can instantly sense when someone is being inauthentic, manipulative, or hiding malicious intent. While they are incredibly compassionate, they possess a fierce moral compass that does not tolerate deceit. If they sense someone is about to commit a wrong or hurt another person, their protective instincts ignite. They will not hesitate to speak the hard, unfiltered truth, not out of malice, but out of a deep-seated obligation to protect authenticity and justice. They are the gentle counselors who will hold your hand through the darkest night. But they are also the mirror that will force you to look at your own uncomfortable reflections. It is no surprise, given their profound depth, that they are naturally drawn to the unusual, the avant-garde, and the deeply unconventional. Mainstream trends, superficial conversations about the weather, and shallow societal expectations feel utterly suffocating to them. They crave intellectual stimulation and spiritual resonance. They find beauty in the forgotten corners of history, in obscure philosophies, complex psychological theories, or abstract forms of art. If something does not have a deeper meaning, a hidden layer of truth, or a soul, they have absolutely no interest in it. They are the people who will find a broken, abandoned building more beautiful than a pristine modern skyscraper, because the ruins hold a story. Their minds are constantly seeking to pierce through the mundane surface of life to touch the profound mysteries beneath. This often makes them feel like outsiders, aliens walking in a world obsessed with shiny, fleeting distractions, while they are quietly searching for the eternal. Despite their strong convictions, there is one thing they will go to exhausting lengths to avoid, and that is conflict. They absolutely despise confrontation, hostility, and screaming matches. To a highly sensitive empath, shouting and aggressive arguing do not just feel unpleasant, they feel physically painful. The toxic energy of a fight invades their nervous system like a poison. Therefore, they will constantly play the role of the peacekeeper, compromising their own desires, biting their tongue, and endlessly searching for common ground just to keep the harmony intact. They will absorb the anger of others and try to neutralize it with calm understanding. However, this desperate avoidance of conflict often comes at a terrible cost to their own mental health. By constantly swallowing their own frustrations to keep others comfortable, resentment begins to build in the dark corners of their mind. They often end up feeling unheard, invisible, and exhausted by the burden of constantly being the emotional shock absorber for everyone else's turbulence. When this resentment reaches a boiling point, when the empath gives and gives until there is absolutely nothing left, a dark and unexpected shadow can emerge. If they spend years feeling misunderstood, unappreciated, and emotionally starved, their natural empathy can curdle into a defense mechanism that closely resembles narcissism. The walls of their fortress become impenetrable. They may turn completely inward, deciding that if the world refuses to understand them, they will stop trying to understand the world. In this unhealthy state, they can become deeply cynical, coldly critical of the flaws in others, and highly self-absorbed. They might retreat into a mindset of intellectual superiority, looking down on the superficiality of others as a way to protect their own bruised hearts. This is the tragic paradox of the broken healer. The very person who is capable of the most profound love and understanding can, when pushed into a spiral of isolation and bitterness, become an absolute island of ice, demanding perfection from a world that broke their trust. Ultimately, to understand this personality is to embrace a beautiful walking contradiction. They are profoundly shy, yet they possess a burning desire for deep, soul-bearing connections. They appear as calm, collected, and serene as a still lake on the outside, while a torrential hurricane of thoughts, theories, and emotions rages beneath the surface. They want to save the world, but they also want to be left completely alone. These strange habits, the overthinking, the sudden retreats, the terrifying intuition, and the heartbreaking perfectionism, are not flaws to be fixed. They are the natural byproducts of a mind that is operating at a frequency of profound depth. If you are one of these rare souls, recognize that your complexities are what make you a quiet force of nature. Your empathy is a beacon in a sometimes dark world, and your need for silence is the armor that protects your beautiful mind. The world needs those who observe deeply, care intensely, and love profoundly, even if they must do it from the quiet shadows of their own secret sanctuary. May you find the peace to accept your beautiful contradictions and the grace to finally offer yourself the same endless compassion that you so freely give to everyone else.